Everybody, my name's Mike Tomorrow, and I want to welcome you to the latest episode of My Life with Asperger's. Before we get on with today's topic, I hope you enjoyed the last couple of videos I done outdoors. They were like the first ones I done in the outdoors and the daylight. I've done an outdoors video before, but it was at night. It was dark, and I had lights on. But the couple of videos I done, the last two videos I done, they were directly out in the sunlight. So I want to thank the people of Scottsdale Beach in Cape Cod, Massachusetts for hosting our group for that weekend and allowing us to do our videos in the safari field that they had. But now, are you ready for the topic I'm going to be talking about? You probably saw it when you clicked on this video, but I'm going to say it anyways. The kids are going to dread when I say this. The parents are going to be happy. The teachers are going to be happy. The bus drivers are going to be happy. The cafeteria workers are going to be happy. Probably every single adult is going to be happy when I say this topic and say these words. You ready for me to say them? It's time to go back to school! And I can tell that if you have kids watching this video, they're going to be, you probably hear them say, "No!" in the background. But, yep, it's that time of year again, my friends. Back to school! But anyways, I know some of you are thinking, why am I doing a back to school video on August 3rd? Simply because there are school districts in this country that are going back to school on Monday, August 3rd, which is today. And I'm sorry I didn't catch you guys before you went back to school. And you've probably seen the back to school sales on TV, the ads, since last month anyways. So, and I know that there was a school district, probably out in Indiana, I think, or in the Midwest, that they go back to school last week in the month of July, but they get out on Memorial Day. It depends on where you go to school. It depends on when you start school, when you get out of school every year. I know that people in Georgia go back to school today, and I know a few other states in the country go back to school today. There are some that are probably going back to school starting next Monday, August 10th, and then the following Monday, August 17th, and so on and so forth until probably Labor Day, when everybody goes back to school, or should be back at school by September 8th. I know in Massachusetts they push to have all the schools go back to school before Labor Day. That's the case this year because of how Labor Day falls on the 7th of September, which is the latest that Labor Day can fall on. So they want us to get a head start because of the snow days that they had last school year. But yeah, going back to school can be tough. When I went to school, I have always mostly gone back to school in September. I know there was a couple of years I went back to school on August 31st. Was like, we're going back to school in August? Since when are we going back to school in August? But that's the way life goes. It was only for a couple of years, but still, going back to school in August, never heard of it. But anyways, but it is a common thing throughout the rest of this country to go back to school in the month of August. And they get out earlier too. So they get out on Memorial Day in the first week of June, second week of June, last week of June. It depends on the snow days, and it depends on when you started school. Now, anyways, for me going back to school was like a new adventure. I know I was like getting used to summer, and I was like hanging out with friends and going to camp and going on vacations and going camping and all that. But then, oh no, back to school. We gotta figure out what bus we're supposed to go on. Who's are gonna be our teachers for that year? You know, and then when I got into middle school, it was like, what classes do I have? When do we have these classes? You know? It was like getting used to it. And then high school was like kind of the same thing. But understand this. When going to high school, you figure out your class schedule during like the spring before you get out of school. So like basically around April, you figure out what your class schedule is, and you pick out what classes you need to take, and you take them, and then you figure out your class schedule then. You know? Same holds true with college, but I'm going to do a separate video on that one, on that topic. Because it's a different topic, and school is different from college. Well, not really, but you get the idea. But anyways, going back to school can be fun. Anyways, because you get to meet new people and you get to see some of your old friends again. Unless you hung out with your friends during the summertime. So, but basically for me, I don't really hang out with anybody from school during the summertime. You know, I didn't really hang out with anybody. And it's sad to hear that, but that's the truth, you know. That I didn't really hang out with anybody from school during the summertime because they lived in different towns than I did, and you know, it can be hard. And then seeing them again in the fall, yeah. Hopefully you remember their names. But anyways, going back to school can be hard because you get new teachers and, well, depending on what school you go to, you get new teachers. And that's NEW, by the way, just to let you know. New teachers, yeah. New classes, new books, new homework assignments, new doing things the way the teacher wants you to do them and learn them. And, you know, it can be hard. And meeting new friends that might have transferred into the school districts, you know. That type of things, you know. When I was going to elementary school, for like 3 or 4 years in a row, I would have the same teacher throughout the year. You know, I would have the same teacher year after year after year. It's like, you know. So basically, we learn new stuff and new stuff and new stuff. You know. And generally, everybody was in that classroom, almost. You know. Depending on the level of the school. And then, for middle school, 7th grade, I was like, at a different school. I didn't really know anybody. I didn't know the teachers. I didn't know the classmates. You know? And it was kind of hard for me to get introduced to everybody because I didn't really know anybody in the classroom and at the school. You know? And then 8th grade comes, and the program that I was in got moved to a different school district at a different school, so I had to meet new people all over again. And that was kind of tough for me to do that as well, because I didn't really know anybody. Once again, I didn't really know anybody. But we had a few of the same teachers, which was helpful. But you know what I mean, is like, it's hard to be introduced and all that, and meeting your friends. But going to 9th grade in the high school was a totally different experience for me because I went to a different school district. I didn't really know anybody. I happened to go to that school district because at the time my mom was working as a school lunch director for the school district, so I went to the high school. And I really didn't know anybody, and I'm glad I met the friends I did and went to school there. And learning the new school and the schedules, and you know, it was kind of tough for me at the beginning, trying to meet everybody, trying to get used to everybody, and you know. But the 4 years that I went to high school there, I've gotten known a lot of great friends there, and I was glad to meet everybody that I went to school with. You know, personally, I was glad to meet everybody, and everybody knew my name because it was a small school district, and everybody knew me, and I knew them. You know, and that's the way life went. You know, and then when I was going back to high school and like 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, I was excited because I was going to return to my friends again and know everybody, and I would get my new classes and some new teachers, and I think those years I kind of relaxed when I went back to school because I knew everybody and I could adapt to everybody very well, you know. But it was a small school district. My class was like 116 by graduation day, so compared to the school that was in my hometown, it's just like 400. It's like, well, I'm glad my parents made that decision, and I had school choice to go to the school district that had less students at it. I was very happy to go there, and meet everybody, and and learn everybody, and myself learning too. And some of the great friends I met were from high school. I know it's been 12 years since I graduated from high school, and I don't really meet up with anybody from high school anymore. The last people I've met up and did something with live in Lakeland, and when I was visiting there, they let me stay with them, and we had a great time. And then I helped them out when they came back up here back in June, So, and I think we're going to be friends for life based on the other qualities too, and their children really like me too. So we'll see how things go, And I'm going to try to get back down there and live back down there and get another job down there, and but that's going to be for another video at another time. But anyways, I didn't really talk about what special classes I had during school, and I need to address those, especially if you're a parent with an SB child or a child that's on the spectrum. I went to a special school when I was in elementary school, and like I said, I had the same teachers year after year after year, and we learned different things. And why we did that was because we were in the same classroom, and there was like kids that were like a few years younger than I was, and eventually, and then there was kids that were a few years older than I was, and then as the years go by, they would graduate from that school, and I was like one of the older ones, and we were all, it was based on the skill set and mindset of the school at the time. And I graduated from that school when I was 13. I could have gone until I was 14, but my parents and I thought maybe going to a new school and a new program would be a good idea and increase my mindset and my learning abilities and all that. So that's why we went into another school when I was like 13 years old, and that's why I went to middle school in 7th grade. And for the 2 years I was in that type of school setting where I was in a classroom, and then I would have mainstream classes for like a topic or two, depending on my education level, and then high school, pretty much freshman year, I had academic support for a block or two, and basically I dropped academic support by the time I was sophomore year because it was just a class that you were able to get your homework done, yes, but at the same time, it didn't really flow with me, and I was like, I want to learn. I don't want to be in like a study hall. So that's why I ended up going to the other classes that I had and dropped academic support off of my schedule. You know, my English was kind of tough, so that's why they divided my first year English into 2 separate years. They took first part of English in 9th grade, and then the second part of that English in 10th grade. And then I was like, I did English 2, English 3, and there you go. You know? But anyways, it depends on what your child has a strong skill for. If they have a strong skill for going to math, you should invest mainstreaming their classes. Social studies, history, same thing. You know, it depends on what the mindset is. Everybody's different, you know. So, but I hope you kids are enjoying your days back at school, because that's what it is all about. And going back to school can be fun, but at the same time, I know you dread it at the beginning, but by the time you get through it, you know, it's basically, it's time to go back to school, you know. So, alright folks, I hope that your kids are going to enjoy their first days back at school. You know, also please feel free to comment on what you guys do for back to school, first days of school. If you guys want to tell me when you guys basically go back to school, that'd be great to learn, because I like to learn when people go back to school, the students. And then also, if you guys are in like Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, a country that's not the United States, feel free to let me know what you guys do for your back to school days, if you guys have a summer break. And tell me when you guys go back to school, what dates, you know? It'd be fun to learn that. So, alright folks, I'll talk to you guys all later. Enjoy the first days of school, everybody. Bye bye.